if I had to compare Blue Flag to something, it would be a great essay, right? Like, you know how an essay is usually, formatted with the thesis, then the body, then the conclusion. Well, Blue Flag has a really nice thesis, a really, really great body, but the conclusion, What's up, you guys? Chase the Dark Sage here. We are back with another video, and today's video we will be reviewing Blue Flag. This series was created by Kato. Now, I don't think they actually have the full mangaka's name on the volume, like literally. It just says Kato right there. And honestly, the first time I actually heard about this series was from another YouTuber named Buji Fujoshi. I hope I said her name right, but hopefully her little thumbnail is up on the screen right now. But the first time I heard about this series is through one of her videos, and I thought it was interesting, especially the way that she described it. But the real way I got into the series was from a recommendation from one of my Discord members, and he was telling me, I should get in the Blue Flag, but he also referenced me to Trashel as well, and I'm not getting into that. But I decided, you know what? Let me read something new. Let me read something different compared to my usual shonen stuff that I read. And I said, let me go ahead and get into Blue Flag. It's only 8 volumes, about 54 chapters. I thought I could really breeze through this, and wow. Did I really breeze through this? Now, before we actually get into the spoiler-free review for Blue Flag, and yes, like I said, no spoilers in this one, but if you do want a spoiler discussion, let me know in the comment section down below. But before we get into the review for Blue Flag, I gotta say shout out to my Patreon pledgers for going ahead and financially supporting the channel. Guys, I highly appreciate what you guys are doing for me, financially donating on Patreon. You guys deserve the biggest Dark Sage hug that I give you. And shout out to my YouTube members. I gotta actually get y'all because I don't actually get notified when y'all sign up through the join thing for the membership. But shout out to my YouTube members for also financially supporting as well. Secondly, I gotta give a big shout out to Broke Boy Gang, aka Notification Squad, because they are already coming through to the video. They kind of wondering what the Dark Sage's thoughts are on Blue Flag, and don't worry, I'll give them to you on this video. I'm not gonna talk about the end, even though I want to, but I will give them to you on this video. But if you're not a part of Broke Boy Gang and you want to be, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, post notification bell, and go ahead, like the video and share the video. That's for everybody. And lastly, if you have not already, go ahead, follow me on all my other social media platforms. All my links will be in the description down below. So let's get into it. So initially, when I first read this volume, and I talked to you guys about it in my June monthly reading log, if you haven't checked that video out, go ahead, check it out. I fell in love with Blue Flag after the first volume, because oh my gosh, the turn that it takes in chapter 5, I was like, okay, y'all got me. Where is this gonna go? And I already knew from chapter 5 that this series was gonna be super spicy, and trust me, it does get pretty spicy, it gets pretty juicy as well. And I gotta say that this was one of those serious dramas, and if you guys don't know, this is actually my first serious romance I've actually read. And I gotta say that this was a really enjoyable experience, especially coming into that genre. It makes you want to get a little bit more into it, but I kind of like this stuff right here. Now, I know it's more of the shonen demographic where it's kind of aimed towards teens, but there are some mature themes in there that I really did enjoy. But to give you guys a brief synopsis, this story is basically a love triangle square? I don't know what shape it should be in, but it's definitely some love aspect happening in this, and I really did like that. I'm not gonna lie, as a sucker for romance, because you guys know in these Nasty Man manga series I be reading, this isn't a Nasty Man manga series, but in my Nasty Man manga series, I usually, I like the nasty aspect, but I also like the romance aspect. I'm a sucker for romance. I don't know why, but I am. But this series really pulled me in with the romance aspect, especially with some things, I guess, not being conventional, I would want to say. I kind of want to say, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say nothing else, but I will say that I didn't expect for what it did in the series. And honestly, I was fully surprised until I kind of got spoiled on it before I got to that part. But I was pretty surprised at the turn that it did make, and I really enjoyed it. But the story begins with the MC Taichi Ichinose being asked by the super shy and timid Futaba Kuze to help give her tips on being able to land their school's #1 athlete, Toma Mita. Toma Mita also happens to be Taichi's childhood best friend. And man, I really did like that aspect, and I will say that the story does change up a bit from that, and other things do happen within the series, but if I tell you anything past chapter 5, it's going to be a huge spoiler, so I don't want to get into spoilers like I said, but from that premise, honestly, I was like, yo, let's get into this, let's see what happens, because during this time where Taichi tries to help Kuze actually get with Toma, he actually starts developing feelings for Kuze, and your boy liked that. I like that. The ending, the ending result of all this stuff, I did not like, but we're not going to be talking about that. Like I said, I really want to talk about the ending. I really want to talk about that ending. Look, I'm getting super hot just thinking about that ending, because that ending, man, that ending, I will tell you that. The series overall is great. I gave the series, before the ending, I was going to give it like a good 8 or 9 for my first serious romance. But that ending really just drove it down. We're not on the cons. I already told you the synopsis. Let me go ahead and tell you some of my pros about the series. First pro I have is the characters. And I gotta say, I really did love the cast of characters, especially the main quadrio, or it's kind of a trio, but they have a fourth member, but the fourth member ain't always there. But the 4 characters I'm talking about is Taichi Ichinose, Futaba Kuze, Toma Mita, and Masumi Itachi. It's funny that her name is Itachi, and you know, like Itachi and Naruto got the black crows, and she kind of gives me, you know, like the really fearsome vibes. I don't know, that's just me. I just made that connection right there, but that's just me. And the way that all these characters are so different, so unique, yet they're all the same deep down, I really did like that aspect of this series right here. And we do have some great supporting characters and some side characters as well, with Taichi's friends and Tomomita's friends. Second thing I love about this series is the themes and the arcs. And first of all, I gotta tell you, you guys know, if you're returning viewers to the channel, your boy in these slice of life rom-coms and just romances, I like my festival arcs. I say that my festival arcs are like the tournament / training arcs in my Shonen Jump series, and this series has a festival arc, and the festival arc is good. I think it's like volume 4 or volume 5. You can see the festival arc on the cover. That's how you know festival arcs, they do be hitting. Festival arcs are important to these series right here. And the festival arc in this right here, and it was Taichi's birthday. It was good. I can't say nothing else but that it was good. I do like some of the other themes that they also include, such as figuring out who you are. There's a certain theme of that. Self-sabotaging, judging and stereotyping, the character developing or the character growth type aspect that really happens at the beginning. And a lot of the characters who have this self-doubt or wishing that they weren't actually them, but they were someone else in the friend group. And I really love that, because you only get to see surface level things for certain characters from these characters' perspective. But deep down, I think some of these characters have way better backstories, especially when you get to have some time and actually when they start to reveal themselves to each other. My favorite character overall has to be Tomomita. And as him being the #1 athlete in the school, I gotta say that I did not expect for him to be my favorite character, but he is such a lovable character. He has such a great backstory. He has such great character growth and development. I gotta say that I really love Tomomita. He is my favorite character in this series. I really did want to like Taichi the most, but there are just some things with Tomomita where I felt like a lot of his character, I feel like he has some of the most tragic situations actually happen to him, and I feel for my boy Tomomita. He's my favorite character. Dang, guys, I really wanted to like the main character or the nerd of the series, but I have to like Tomomita. While he is the #1 jock, while he does get all the pretty girls, while he does get all these achievements, he has something really deep down within him that just comes out, and you just can't feel nothing but sorry for him, and you just feel for his character so much. I love the way that the mangaka actually written all these characters and put them through all these arcs in such a short amount of time. And that's another pro that I have, is that this series is not really that long. It's about like 53 to 54 chapters, and honestly I binged it between 3 days. As a YouTuber, you know, I have a pretty busy schedule while I'm trying to, you know, get fit, because, you know, I'm trying to get the abs. I'm trying to look like Tomomita myself. But while I was working out, while I was actually reading and editing YouTube videos, I gotta say that this was a pretty good read, especially over 3 days. So I will say that this series does go by a bit quick. While some of the chapters are about 20 to 30 pages, I will say be wary, because some chapters later on, I'm gonna get into that later, but some chapters later on, they just get super wordy and they're just super long for no reason. But another pro that I do have is that the pacing of the series actually goes by really well, and a lot of things happen within the series as well, while I'm like, you know what? This was actually pretty good. And I could point out several things that happened in this series, and if you look back at it, you see that you didn't spend that much time on the series, but so much has happened that you've gotten so involved with these characters, and I really do love that aspect as well. 2 more pros that I actually have is how mature this series actually is. While this series is pointed towards the demographic of teens, I gotta say that as an adult myself, I really did enjoy some of the themes, especially some of the deeper and darker themes. And I'm not saying like dark as in like, you know, berserk type dark. Like I'm saying dark as in like, you know, like kind of like things like depression, not really being motivated to do anything, actually being doubted by everybody and just doubting yourself in general. I really did like that theme as well. There's nothing like super triggering in this series, I will say. I hope there's nothing super triggering. I don't think there's anything super triggering in the series. And my last pro was, in this series right here, I really did like the turn that Chapter 5 took, because I didn't expect it at all, even though I was kind of spoiled on it, but I didn't think it would happen so soon. So I will say, Chapter 5, woo, buckle in, because that's when it starts to get spicy. But that's about it for my pros. And actually, for this review right here, I only have about 2 cons. And the first con has to be, there's 2 chapters in the series, and there's 2 chapters that are super wordy, super dialogue driven, and honestly, it was not a fun time, guys. I will tell you that right now. It was not a fun experience. Now, not to say that those chapters were bad in any type of way. Those chapters did have some great themes that I was really liking, and some character arcs that I really was liking as well. But the point that they try to drive onto you, they kind of baby you, because as an older person, I get it. Like, I get it. You could tell me this in like 2 or 3 pages. I get it. Show me some of the more great artwork that you have in the series, because I do like to say that this series does have some pretty nice artwork. Like, it's not like super in-depth or anything, or super detailed, but I will say that I really did enjoy the artwork, and I feel like it has a really clean look to it and a very aesthetic like look to it. But sometimes I just felt like the dialogue was just so heavy that I could barely see the art, I could barely see the characters. I'm like, yo, I get what you're trying to say. I don't need 20 more pages of dialogue just for you to explain this point to me. And honestly, that really annoyed me, but that was like about 2 or 3 chapters out of the whole series. Other than that, really what drives you is the artwork, which sometimes the characters are in this like derpy looking mode. And I gotta say, I really did like it, because they're not always serious all the time. So there is a little bit of comedy in the series, but most of the time you actually see them probably in like a serious mode, and you kind of see them like, you know, actually just going through life. And my last con, even though I know I added a few pros in the last con, my last con has to be the ending. It's not good, guys. I will tell you that right now. This literally brought down the series from 1 letter grade if I had to grade it, because honestly, when it comes to endings, and I know shonen stuff kind of has a problem with writing their endings, some stuff, not all stuff, but some of it does have a problem with writing their endings or cementing their endings. And I feel like the second to last chapter, I believe it's like chapter 53, I feel like the ending right there would have been cool. I feel like it would have been cool. If that was the final chapter, I would have been cool. But we have the actual final chapter, and when I read the final chapter, I felt like it was literally like DLC. Like, you know, like the DLC where you got the final ending of the game, and you're like, all right, it's cool. But then they add some more DLC, and you're like, you know what? I really didn't need that. Like, it really wasn't that good, especially towards the actual ending. Now, I'm not saying like this was like an afterwards ending or anything like that. This is the true ending, because this is the only ending that the author wrote. But the ending was not good. The decision that the mangaka made in this series, I feel like it was very cheap. It was not earned at all. It was not foreshadowed at all. So I will say the ending did not feel well deserved at the end, and it just felt like a huge slap in the face for all the things that we've been through with some of these characters. But overall, Blue Flag is a great romance series, and I will definitely recommend it if you do like your romance series. Like I said, this is my first super serious romance right here, so take that with a grain of salt. If you read like a whole bunch of romances like Fruit Baskets or whatever, and I heard that that's great, I'm gonna pick it back up. But I heard that that's great. I dropped it because the artwork wasn't good, but Blue Flag's artwork is amazing. I will say that. But guys, that's about it for a review. Just remember, Blue Flag's ending is not good, but all the other volumes before then, oh, it's good. It's good. Solid 8. Solid 8.5. It's really, really good. I enjoyed my time with Blue Flag. I was super invested with the story, super invested with the characters. It's here. It's here. I gotta buy the rest of the volumes. Right now I only got volume 1, so I gotta binge buy all these volumes. But guys, if you have read Blue Flag, or if you're gonna get into Blue Flag, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd like to say thank you guys for watching. If you are new to the channel and you have not already, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, post notification bell. I'd like to say thank you guys for watching. Dark Sage out. Peace.